An 18% drop in car theft. That's one of the things the city of Madison pointed to say safety is improving. WMTV's Marcus Arsvold was at the city's year-end State of the Public Safety address. Marcus, you asked about two recent violent carjackings.
You'll remember Monday, 3 people with guns surrounded someone's Jeep in a West Side Menards parking lot and then stole it. Then Tuesday, in a separate incident on the East Side, MPD says 4 carjackers stole another car. Today at the State of Public Safety address, MPD Chief Sean Barnes says car thefts are down 18%. I asked if the carjackings, a more violent way to steal cars, is cause for concern in the new year, despite the fact that thefts are down.
We'll make sure that our detectives and our analysts are looking for these particular clues that may indicate we have a greater problem. And I think that's probably the best strategy for us right now. But right now, we're not seeing the trend that other cities are seeing in regards to carjackings.
MPD believes both Monday and Tuesday's carjacking incidents are connected. Chief Barnes says they're close to identifying one suspect, but don't know if he's from Madison or not. Live in the studio, Marcus Arsvold, WMTV 15 News.